Hi everybody, this is Miss Addie from the National Museum of Women in the Arts, and today we're going to listen to the story Perfect Square by Michael Hall. And as we're reading this, I want you to think about the kinds of lines and the kinds of shapes we see throughout this book and all of its illustrations. Perfect Square by Michael Hall. It was a perfect square. It had 4 matching corners and 4 equal sides. And it was perfectly happy. But on Monday, the square was cut into pieces and poked full of holes. It wasn't perfectly square anymore. What shapes do you notice now that the square has been cut into pieces and poked full of holes? So it made itself into a fountain that babbled and giggled and clapped. I see we have birds here in the illustration too. Can you count how many birds you notice? On Tuesday, the square was torn into scraps. So it made itself into a garden. How would we describe the shapes of the flowers in this garden and the stems? On Wednesday, the square was shredded into strips. So it made itself into a park. I notice in this beautiful lush green park a kite being flown. I'm wondering if we can describe the lines and the shapes that make up that particular kite. On Thursday, the square was shattered. What shapes do we notice now that the square is shattered? So it made itself into a bridge. We notice here 2 street lights, and I'm wondering if you can name the shapes and the lines that make up those street lights, as well as identify some of the shapes that the bridge is made up of. On Friday, the square was snipped into ribbons. I notice lots of zigzag lines on the sides of these shapes. So it made itself into a river. How many fish do you see in this river? On Saturday, the square was crumpled and ripped and wrinkled. I see it looks a little wrinkled here, like it's been balled up. So it made itself into a mountain. And there are a couple of clouds here above the mountain. How might we describe the lines that make up those clouds? On Sunday, the square waited to see what was next. It waited and waited. Nothing happened. We see that the square is back to its original color, red. Its 4 equal sides were confining. Its 4 matching corners were rigid and cramped. I see a curved line that goes downward, almost like a frown. So it made itself into a window. That looked out on a mountain, that gave birth to a river, that was crossed by a bridge, that led to a park, that was home to a garden, that had at its center a fountain, that babbled and giggled and clapped. I hope you're inspired like I am to find some art supplies around the house to try to recreate the shapes, the lines, and the colors that we saw in this book. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.